have my Dwarf Honeysuckle. I'm keeping it pretty small. When I got it, it was probably about close to 2 feet tall. I had cut a thick leader that was here. There was three. It was divided in three right here. There was a thick piece um, in between these two. Didn't like it because it was very straight up for a while, and this has a nice, fairly good start for a trunk for a smaller tree. I don't really want. I'm not big into a lot of big trees. I have a few that are going to be, decent size. Not big trees, but they'll be decent size. I think the tallest one will be my collected yew. That will probably end up being my biggest tree. Either that or my redwood. Just the way I want them to be, they'll be bigger. Today we're just going to work on this. We're just going to trim this back. As you can see, it's grown out. This usually gets trimmed every couple months, I find, because I'm working already on ramification. This trunk could use a little thickening up, but not much. The base is pretty good, so I've been working on ramification. I'll give you a rotation. The other side to the front, just because I don't know if you can see this on camera. I don't know if we're up high enough, or you can just see it. But this has like this look, like there's two branches, and there's like a ditch. It looks like a ditch in there, in the middle, where it looks like there's two. It might have been two branches that come up and they fused originally, and the back doesn't look as good. And the tree naturally moves. The back moves back this way on this side, so the other side works better. The back also needs some growing in. Doesn't have. It needs more development in the front. So we'll rotate this around. We'll bring it back to the front. So we'll get started. I don't think I am going to touch this, except I'm going to just clip back some dead stuff. This is not growing as vigorously as this part, so I will leave this time, not touch it, let it get some vigor. We're not looking to make this as tall as this one. I figured this would just be a little pad off to the side here, but we need to get some vigor in it to grow it, to get it grown out some. So we will leave this and we will chop this back. We will cut this back. Let's just start in the back here first. Just seems the easiest to start in this back, seeing the back is not as developed. And we are just going to, now the honeysuckle grows leaves, 2 leaves on both sides, and then they alternate. Sometimes they alternate, I notice. Sometimes they kind of alternate, but a lot of times they are just, as you can see here, they don't alternate. They're just 2 leaves every node, and they're usually on the same side. So I'm just going to put that back. Put this stuff just back for ramification, to start some to help ramification. And this, I've noticed this is just fine to cut back to somewhat green stuff. I've not had much trouble with that. That's why I'm doing this now. It kind of needs. I just wanted to get this out of the tree. But a lot of these have started hardening off on the bottom anyway. So, and some of them are going back quite a ways. This one's gonna go back there. This I'm gonna go back to there. That out of there. Got a lot of other trees that have dropped their seeds and stuff all over my stuff. I think a river birch did it. I think the river birch is these little. I don't know if you can see that in my hand. I think these are river birch. The river birch we have a huge river birch because our river birch never. My dad had cut the river birch back, all the suckers off, so it never. Most river birches will have multi. A river birch is usually a multi-trunk tree. That's the habit it grows when it's younger. It puts out suckers, so you end up with multiple trunks. Ours is one trunk, and it is a monster of a tree. I don't know if I've ever seen a river birch that big. Because they usually are multiple trunks, so they're usually smaller. There's not much to say about how I'm chopping these back. I'm just chopping them back again, like I said, for ramification. So I'm trying to keep them, a lot of them, tight in. So the next stuff, unless I want like this one I want a little longer to come out. Out a little more. Get some stuff out of there again. Now these two branches are kind of competing with one another. This branch is kind of becoming an eye poker. So we'll take that out. This will go this way. I might eventually wire this a little bit to go a little more this way. I think this branch goes good this way. So I think we will move this branch, which is kind of under this branch here anyway. So then we will cut that back to there. Cut this back to here. I think I'll take this one out just because it'll interfere with this one, and this one might get brought over a little more into this area. This I'm going to take off just because the way this is growing. This is kind of growing up and I don't need the branch here. I think I'm going to make this more the leader, this side the leader. So this needs to be a little taller, and we're going to keep this branch for the new leader. So cut that there. And I think this will go. We don't need that. It's kind of just inside, and it competes with both these branches. So, and as I said, I'm not doing much with this. We're just kind of giving it a quick trim. So this will be a short video, relatively. We got something. We got this grown. This needs to grow out. Help fill in here. This will fill in eventually. Help fill in. This is kind of an underneath branch. Yeah, the back needs to be filled in a little. I think from the front, this is pretty good. These, like I said, eventually might need to be wired or handled a little bit different. That definitely needs to be wired eventually this way. But I think these branches are just still a little too thin to be wiring yet. So we're just going to clip them and see where they go. Just rotate that. Show you the whole tree. And that will be it for this tree. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you next time.